I mailed the DNA results to my husband's mother, not to him. My husband Miguel and I have a 4-year-old daughter, Valerie. His mother, Katrina, has said since the day Valerie was born that she doesn't see the family in her. Katrina has a wall of framed baby photos of Miguel and his brothers, and she'd hold Valerie up next to them at every visit and go quiet. Last Thanksgiving, she said it out loud at the table. Funny how none of my grandchildren look like this one. Miguel laughed it off. I didn't. For 4 years, Katrina dropped little comments. Valerie's hair was too dark. Her eyes weren't the Underwood eyes. Once she asked me, real casual while drying a dish, if I'd known Miguel long before we got together. I said we'd been together 6 years before Valerie. She said, and kept drying. The thing is, I knew Valerie was Miguel's. There was never anyone else. But Katrina had planted enough that I could see it working on Miguel. He started studying Valerie's face at breakfast. He got quiet when Katrina called. So around Valerie's 4th birthday, I told him let's just do a test. Put it to bed. He said he didn't need one. I said I did. We did a cheek swab kit at the kitchen table on a Sunday. Valerie thought it was a game. I mailed it off myself. Miguel said, you'll see. It's nothing. I said I hoped so. 2 weeks later, I told him the results still hadn't come. That was a lie. They'd come. 99. Miguel's daughter, no question, exactly like I knew. I sat in the car in the pharmacy lot and read it 3 times, and then I did something I'd been thinking about for 4 years. I made a copy, I put the original in a fresh envelope, and I mailed it to Katrina's house, addressed to her with a sticky note on top. The note said, thought you should be the first to know. I didn't tell Miguel. Katrina got it on a Thursday. She called Miguel at 6 p.m., and I could hear her through the phone from across the room. She was crying. Actually crying. Miguel kept saying, Mom, slow down, what results? He put it on speaker by accident. Katrina said, I opened your mail, I'm so sorry, I never should have said those things. She's yours. She's really yours. Miguel looked at me. I kept chopping onions. He said, Mom, why do you have our test results? Katrina went quiet. Then she said, someone mailed them to me. I assumed you wanted me to see. Miguel said, I didn't send you anything. He looked at me again. I didn't look up. Katrina drove over that night. She came in without knocking, which she always does, and she was holding the envelope like it might bite her. She looked at me and said, did you send me this? I wiped my hands and said yes. She said, why would you do that to me? I said, you've told me for 4 years my daughter isn't a Underwood. I got proof. I figured you'd want it in writing so you could stop asking me at dinner. Miguel said, wait, you told me the results hadn't come. I said, they came 2 weeks ago. I wanted your mother to read them before you did. The room went dead quiet. Katrina sat down on the couch. She said, you let me sit with this for 2 weeks? I said, you let me sit with it for 4 years. Miguel said, you should have told me first. I'm your husband. I said, you studied our daughter's face at the breakfast table because of what she said. You did that. So the 2 of you can sort out who owed who an apology. But I wanted her to open that envelope alone in her kitchen and feel exactly what I've felt at every holiday since Valerie was born. Katrina said, I only ever wondered. I said, I know what you wondered. It's on the paper. Read it as many times as you need. Miguel said his mother didn't deserve to find out that way. I said his mother started it and I finished it. He said I was being cruel. I said I mailed a woman proof that her granddaughter was her granddaughter. If that landed like a slap, she should ask herself why. Katrina still comes to Sunday dinner. She hasn't held Valerie up to the photo wall once. Last week she asked if she could frame one of Valerie's drawings for the hallway. I said sure. The DNA letter is still on her fridge. Miguel says she won't take it down.